Okay guys, so here's the video that I was talking about from the other night in my race video that I was going to kind of do a little bit of garage talk, tech talk about what went down Saturday. Heard a lot of spectators and other racers during the stock main and stuff, racers in other class, when we were watching stuff, and we had some discussions about some stuff while you guys were racing. First off, I just want to say that I'm really pleased with the turnout and how the kart racing here in the Four Corners has taken off in the last year. COVID no doubt had a lot to do with that, but Mike and Brandon and even Chad have done some things with the kart racing around here. You know, you like how I said that, Chad? Have done some things around here to make it more affordable with bringing in parts, bringing in carts and everything, getting people involved. So it's really good to see a lot of experienced racers getting involved and coming out. Really appreciate it. It's only good for the club seeing the numbers go up. But of course, as that type of thing happens, right, you're going to have conflicts and issues are coming up. So that's what I wanted to address here. Normally I do these pretty unscripted, but hey, I'm like Joe Biden in this one. I have some notes on some things to discuss. So first thing I want to say regarding it is, remember, we are racing for fun here. No one's making, well, any money at Kart Canyon, but it's for fun. So it's not going to change the world if you turn someone for 10th place or first place. It doesn't matter. You get a sticker if you win. That's about it. But that being said, you know, I mean, it's competition. Everyone gets worked up. It's the adrenaline rush. It's the competitive factor. That's why we do it, right? So that's cool. But that first point I wanted to make was it's for fun. You guys have fun with this. Don't lose sleep over it. Don't stress out. I saw people posting afterwards, you know, the following day, they're ready to quit. It sucked the fun out of it. And that sucks for everyone else involved, not only for the person that's pissed off about it, but everyone else involved too. So remember, this is for fun. We're all out there. Everyone's pretty friendly with each other. Hope we don't get to the point over freaking go-karts that we see blood feuds going on the racetrack, but we know it can happen. We've seen it before in cars, motorcycles, everything, you know. I mean, my background, I've been doing this. I'm 44 years old. I've been racing some form of motorsports for 39 years now. The other night, I realized that, whether it was two wheels or four wheels, I've been doing this crap since I was 5 years old. And as much as we say, hey, it's for fun, yeah, we know that people get worked up, the adrenaline gets going, people blow their tops, you know, we understand that. Just keep it in check. You guys, we have to police ourselves out there. Brandon is the promoter of record. He's one guy doing everything. I try to help out with whatever I can, whether it's staging or stuff like that, on the track, stuff like that. We've got Mike trying to help out, run the water truck. Mike hasn't even raced, well, I take that back. Mike has raced at Kart Canyon, but usually he doesn't race, Mike Kinski, because he's busy doing stuff also, you know. So we appreciate everyone's help that's going and helping out on an ad hoc basis out there, but Brandon is one guy. So kind of remember that. We have to police ourselves on the track and in the pits. Okay, so a couple things. The invert. Love it, hate it, don't really care. I don't know. I personally am not a big fan of inversion on the main events, whether it's a full field invert or even the top inverts, but whatever it is, it was the same for everyone. It always is the same for everyone. If you want someone to blame me for that. You stock guys, Mike Kinski threw the coin and I called it. And I called tails and it landed tails for the invert. We called heads, or we called tails for everything, and the other classes all landed up heads, so they didn't invert. So you want to blame someone, go ahead. I don't think it's that big of a deal, but like I said, I'm not a fan of it. I get it, but hey, it is what it is. Well, we're talking about the invert. This kind of leads into, I guess, some other stuff. It was further down on my list, but I'm going to go ahead and talk about it now. We had 21 stock carts, which was an amazing turnout. We inverted the field. That put the tail end Charlies from the heat races out front, the people that scratched, that type of thing. We know that there is a big experience gap in the stock cart class. So you had the heat winners, people consequently, they probably had more experience in karts coming up through the field, a packed field. We've seen it happen before to some degree in other kart classes out there. We've all seen it happen with cars before. That's, again, my personal opinion, my editorialization here is that's why I don't like the invert, but I deal with it. It keeps you on your toes for sure. Yes, it does make some passing for the spectators and the fans, that type of thing. It sucks to be the guy that wins a heat race and you get the full field invert, and now you're back there in the very back as the tail gunner having to work your way through. People did it. It can be done. It sucks. It is what it is. Maybe something to address going forward with the promoter and see what happens. That talent gap is something I want to talk about a little bit. I proposed this to Brandon afterwards. It's already midway through the season, so he doesn't want to make a whole lot of changes, and I get that. My proposal to him, I've seen it in other kart racing classes. We've seen it in motocross, stuff like that, even in SCCA road racing, which I was involved with. Basically a novice beginner class. You show up, you're cold to racing, not necessarily auto racing in general. If you have some experience, you show up like, Tyrone and Regan, they have plenty of experience, stuff like that. But I'm talking person that meets the adult age categories, has never raced anything, shows up first time in their flat kart, gets thrown out there to the wolves. Well, maybe we need a beginner's class for them. Now, it could be the ladies class. If a female shows up, wants to run the ladies class, that's fine. Or we have an adult open class for both men and women. Beginner class, whatever you want to call it. Not open engine, just beginner class. You run, say, 2 races, and then that's it. Win, lose, 10th place, 5th place, win, whatever. After 2 races, you're out of there. You can then go whatever, stock, super stock, open, whatever you feel that you want to compete in. Maybe the ladies class counts for that for the women also. If they show up and they run 2 events there, and then that makes them eligible to run regular stock or super stock or whatever. This is just my idea, something that I proposed to Brandon. No points, no trophy class, just strictly learn, get experience racing, turning left in a 4-wheeled kart, get used to the rules, and go from there. That will maybe close the experience gap in the future for people that are coming from auto racing or even motocross or something like that are racing karts versus the person that's cold turkey that just bought a kart for the first time, watched us run once or twice, and came out and was like, hey, I want to do this. So I just throw that out there for discussion. I guess one of the other things we're kind of talking about was race etiquette came up, talking with some people on the fence during the stock main. And this probably goes for not only novices, beginners, first timers, whatever you want to call them, that are racing, but for people that aren't maybe used to it, or maybe, let's be honest, kind of cheating the rules a little bit because you can get away with it. There's race etiquette out there. I'll start with the starts. So front row, specifically the pole sitter, the guy on the front row inside, or gal, sets the pace on the start. I say the front row because you end up with a little back and forth setting the pace. We like to see a good rolling start. For those people that don't know how to start, we like to see a good rolling start. Not 100 miles an hour, 6,500 RPM, and you're already flat going into turn 3. But also not what they call the Texas start or whatever it was, where you do the whip, you speed up, slow down, and then once the field bunches up and accordions up, you poke the throttle and go. Seen that for years, and it's quite honestly, it's BS. You want a nice rolling start, middle pace, if you could call it that. Green flag comes out, you go on the green. It is possible to start out rolling a little faster. I mean, you see the flagman's hands going up, you're starting to poke into it. As long as the front row is, side by side with each other, clean start, everyone's rolling. That's what we're looking for. It's a fair, clean start. That's about as fair as you can make it, short of doing something like a standing Le Mans start on the front straight, and go from there and drop the green. We race back to the flag here. Again, Brandon's the only guy that's actually scoring up there in the stand. Sometimes, Lita helped out a couple times. But, a lot of places you revert to the lap before. That works great if there's a timing system, if we had transponders or stuff, or multiple people scoring to line people up. But we do race back to the flag. Caution comes out on the back straight, as was discussed at the drivers' meeting. The front straight flagman is controlling of the race. If you see the caution out back with the back straight flagger, hey, there's something up, spidey senses go up, keep an idea. You come out turn 4 and the flag is waving, well, traditionally we have raced back to the yellow flag and then get into position with as you come across the line. Sure, people are going to kind of, jostle around, jockey and shuffle for positions. Again, this comes down to try to police amongst yourself. I mean, if a person's clearly got a nose on you, give them the damn spot, get back in line. It sucks, but if it's obvious, don't be out there blocking, holding them out. Again, 1, 2 people running the track, running the race. We don't have time for that. It gets kind of ridiculous trying to police that stuff. Passing under yellow. We saw a lot of this in the stock main event with the cautions. If you bring the caution out, you go to the back. You don't get to make up 6 positions. Formally, we have not had a protect the leader rule, which means, second takes out the leader and spins, throws a caution out. I think that needs to maybe be addressed a little bit. That's going to be at the discretion of Brandon. That can be discussed at the next drivers' meeting, I suppose, and figure out what they're going to do with that. But ultimately, flagman can put a person in back. But what you see a lot is busy with the lineup, but people are sneaking around and then they're boxing each other out, getting in. Basic rule of the road in dirt track, especially in this area, was everywhere, but this area was, if you bring out the caution, you go to the back. If you cause the caution, that's your penance. You go to the back if you're still running. If you're involved in something and the officials deem you not to be going to the back, you go to the back. We'll get you back. They'll get you back up in there. Every effort's going to be made. You don't want to rob people their positions, but just yellow comes out, you've spun, then you come back and you pass 6 people and force your way back into line and you get away with it. That's cool. It's BS, really. So, police ourselves. If you bring out the caution, if you spin, and then the field goes around, you tail gun on the back. Sorry, that's just how it is. You have to work your way back up. No place back unless the officials give it to you. That's basically what it boils down to. Green flag conditions, equal race, everything being equal. Saw a lot of block and chop going on. Common etiquette in left turn racing is if you're faster than someone and you're in the outside, you hold the line. You don't then chop back across them. Just do the 45 to 60 degree turn and chop back across them. That's a guaranteed way to get spin. If you spin, that happens. It's kind of on you. We saw a couple of those, and it's like, well, hell, that's what happens. This next one I want to talk about, holes in traffic. We've all been there. You're racing. It's the point of the race. You got to dive through the hole. I don't think what a lot of people, and maybe some of the newbies, realize, no fault of their own if they haven't done this, you can't see beyond that, 90 degree line, if sometimes even less, probably a 70 degree line of your helmet. You can't see who's out there. So when you guys are 4 wide, be cognizant of where you're at. When you're 4 wide coming out of 2 or 4 wide coming out of 4, and there's a hole, well, that hole might be closing really fast, faster than your closing rate to get through it, and that person might not be able to see it. So don't drive over top of people. That's the big thing. If the hole is closing and it's obviously don't have a cart width to get through there, don't blow into it and just knock someone out of it. This isn't rental carts. It's not K1 speed or family fun land like we used to have here with full bumpers. We saw what happens with tight racing with the endo down the back straight. That's been addressed. Full bumpers or a kicker bumper on the inside to keep the nose and keep the wheels from going in there. That for people that are new to this, that will be learned, and we get that. For the people that are experienced, probably know better on that. So just keep that in mind, guys. You can't see as well as most people think unless you're doing the rubberneck crane in your head, and then you're not going forward. Watch the holes, but if the hole's closing, or if there's just simply not enough, everybody knows where the momentum's going to carry out. You can see the line, especially when it's rubbered up and black like it was the other night. You know where you're going to drift out to. unless you're willing to hold it down and kill your momentum or outbrake someone going in there, it's kind of difficult. I get it. But just be cognizant of that. We don't want to get people hurt. All it's going to take is one really bad injury, and especially Car Canyon City Aztecs cut that off. Even though we have the insurance, it is in a motorized form. We know how this goes when stuff happens. So just be cognizant and be safe. What else do I got? I guess the other thing, probably, I've talked to a couple people about this, and it's not really a gripe or concern or complaint, but for those of you that are new, and by new I mean totally new, rank new, novice, or even people coming over from full-size car racing, it's a little different. The setup of the carts, how you drive them, stuff like that. Ask around. It's a pretty good club. It's a pretty good group of people. Most people, while they may not want to share all their speed secrets or whatever, they'll help you with setup. I mean, come ask me. I've been doing this for a couple years now. I still learn stuff, but I'll walk you through setup or tech questions on the engine or something like that if you have any questions. If you're new and you have questions about racing and stuff, come ask me. Talk to the Tinskys. I can name off a half dozen people that have been around general racing enough that they can tell you kind of what the rules of the road are, so to speak. And if not, they can direct you to someone who can do it. So my concern is we're all just there to have a good time. We don't need the fighting in the pits. I mean, yes, people get hot, upset. Hey, standard rule, whether it was motorcycles or cars, for me and my family, was if you're pissed off, stay in your own pits. Now, has that been violated once or twice? Yeah. Felt like a jackass afterwards. But stay in your pits, cool down, talk to the people. There's no reason to have mobs swinging and yelling and going nuts over some BS chasing someone down in the pits. That's all I'm going to say about that. Ask around. Like I said, if you have questions, talk to me, talk to the Tinskys, talk to anyone that's been racing for a while, and they're willing to help. Okay. I hope this leads to some good discussion, maybe to see why some of us were kind of a little ticked off the other night, the way things went. Lock Street Eats is going on Saturday. There's going to be carts and cars set up there. I'm going to try to be there. It's kind of up in the air right now, but I'm going to try to be there with my stuff. Aztec Speedway for the carts on the little track. Stocks opens and youths on Saturday night. That's going on. And then next Car Canyon race is going to be at the end of July. I can't remember off the top of my head when that's going to be, the 23rd, 25th, somewhere around there. Whatever Saturday that is that weekend. All right. Thanks for checking this out. Hope everyone's having a good time, getting ready for the weekend. Hope you're going to have a great July 4th, celebrate the nation's independence, Freedom Days here in Farmington, San Juan County, or wherever you're at. Have a good time. We'll talk at you later. Like, comment, subscribe.